Alrighty folks, we're out here on the range today sighting in our brand new Black Friday special 243 Winchester in the Savage Axis right over here. 22-inch barrel, 1 in 9.3 something twist or something like that. Today we're just going to be sighting in with the Winchester 140 grain power point. And those are just your classic, kind of a soft point there. 100 grains, this is probably the top end of our ability to stabilize bullets with our twist rate. To go to like the 105 VLDs and even 95 VLDs and stuff that they're really stretched out, you need a 1 in 8 twist from what I've heard. So we're probably not going to be testing any of that like super extreme high BC stuff here anytime soon. But we're just going to be trying out some ammo here. Got the chronograph just to see what happens. Got the target down there. We're going to get sighted in and then do a couple of groups and just see how it performs, and then maybe hit the steel a few times and probably wrap it up there. So I just picked this up this afternoon. I literally didn't clean it. Haven't checked any of the torque specs or anything. All I did was throw this mismatched bipod on it there from a different gun. So we're just shooting here off the table, roughly 100 yards, maybe 95 or 97, somewhere in there. But we're just going to take our first shot here and see if we get on the paper. So let's get to it. Real quick, if you like this sort of content, make sure to visit me over at dummyroundreloading.com. You can find all of my other affiliate links, my channels, and all that fun stuff on the other platforms. So thanks, and let's get into it. Okay, so we've got the chronograph there. The box is quoting us at 2690 feet per second here at the muzzle. Let's see if we get one read over the chronograph. I know it's getting pretty dark out, so lighting conditions might be stopping us from that. But there we go. I'm just going to aim at the, I guess, top center target. And let's see if we get anywhere near that. All right. I totally flinched really bad, and the trigger is about 30 pounds of pull, so I wasn't quite sure where the break was going to be. I'm just going to take another shot at the same spot, and our chronograph up there is reading 2909. So we're about 50 feet per second behind the factory quoted velocity. Our brass looks like it's sealed off pretty well there. A little bit of blow by on the neck. Primer, that looks pretty nice. There's no mark on the bolt face. So I think we're good here. All right, I'm not going to make any adjustments. I'm just going to hold it at the same spot. It looks like we were a little low and to the right. So let's see where this one goes without me flinching so bad. Okay, it looks like it came back to the right in the center where we need, but we're a couple inches low. So I'm going to go ahead and make a few clicks upwards, and we'll try again. All right, that one on the chronograph though is 2,900 feet per second. So far fairly consistent. And our brass looks just the same there. And so I made about 2 inches of adjustment upwards. So let's see where this third one goes. Okay, it looks pretty good from here. Let's go ahead and do a 3-shot group at our top right target. And there, our third reading over the chronograph says 2867. So those first two were a little more consistent. Now we're starting to open up. But our brass still looks good. This will be nice and reloadable, which will be nice because it's actually at the proper length, because the 308 that I've converted so far is probably 20 thousandths short on some of them. All right, top Actually, let's go ahead and load our magazine with the 3. I've got 1 in the chamber, and then we'll put 2 more in the gun here to make this a 3-shot group, and we'll try and feed them off the magazine. Very nice. Stick the bottom end and rock that in. Okay. So I said top right, I meant top left. Okay, that extracted out with running the bolt. The next one I think got picked up and sent into the chamber. So let's try another shot here. All right, that's not too bad from back here, maybe an inch or 2. I can't really gauge the distance very well. I'm going to say those are 2 inches apart. So for our first, what is that, 6 shots out of the gun, not super horrible, but it's our only option for testing right now. And yeah, those come out just fine. And I didn't want to go out and buy 10 different factory offerings. I'm just going to get reloading components and play around with that. There's no need to spend $30 on 20 rounds when I can load them for 40 cents a piece, maybe up to 50 cents a piece for a loaded cartridge of some like match grade stuff that would cost $45 at Academy where I was. They wanted $44 for 20 rounds of the 90 grain ELDX. So let's go ahead and we'll move. It looks like we're still a little bit to the right from the average of that first group that we were calling a group there. So I'm going to go ahead and make about a 1/2 inch to the left of adjustment. And no, YouTube, I'm not modifying the firearm in any way. This is just standard safety procedure of sighting in your rifle. It needs to be done because it's safe to know exactly where your rounds are going. So this is not instructions on how to modify a firearm. Don't worry about any of that nonsense. But we're going to move to the top right target now, and we're going to shoot another 3 shots. This did come with a really cheap Weaver 3-9. I'm eventually going to swap that out with literally anything else. This is obviously a cheap introductory gun, but I'm going to eventually get a different stock from Boyd's. We're going to probably bed it. We're going to make sure we're actually free floating, because I don't know about with this bipod if that's leaning on our barrel or doing anything weird. I'll probably get a real mount with a much better scope, and then throw this on one of my like the 5th AR in the safe that needs an optic still. So we'll do some swapping around on this gun, probably drop in a trigger at some point, and it'll be like my stupid, like you buy a Glock and upgrade and change out every single part. Well, that's what we're going to end up doing with this cute little guy here. So let's just keep going and see what we end up doing. The barrel, it's definitely not hot, but I can feel that it's not the ambient temperature of outside here, which is roughly 50 degrees. So top right target. Well, I made a few clicks left and it stayed in about the same spot to the right of the target. Let's just keep going and shoot our 3 shots. Action isn't quite the smoothest, but we'll play around with it and We haven't actually lubricated anything. I didn't clean it at all, like I said. I'm not doing any sort of break-in procedure, but I'm just gonna run pretty much all these except 5. And after I get maybe like 500 ins to the barrel life, I'm gonna come back and shoot them, and we can compare the velocity again. Since people say your barrel speeds up after a few hundred rounds, let's see if we can actually get closer to that velocity listed on the box and regain that 50 feet per second maybe. That would be very interesting, but I've never tested a brand new barrel and just tracked it. So that's what we're going to try to do with this one. As we upgrade and change things, pretty much the only thing that's going to stay is going to be the barrel and the action. And, you know, we'll go from there, but lots of stuff to do. We got one more shot here. I'm just kind of rambling to make sure the barrel doesn't get super hot, because we're not getting quite Mirage just yet. But I saw it after I shot that last shot and kind of spotted myself. I kind of saw a little Mirage coming up. So we're just going to wait a little bit and talk about the future. So like I said, we're going to start a series on reloading for the 243. You'll see that coming up soon. And I've already started forming some brass out of 308 because I don't have any 243 brass. And its parent case is the 308 Winchester. It came out 2 or 3 years later. All they did was neck it down to 6mm. It kept the same shoulder and everything. All they did was change the diameter of the case mouth. So if you have a whole bunch of 308 brass laying around, I do, you can use that. So far I've been forming a few pieces from that, and we're going to see if it works. Although it is really short. It's way under the trim 2 length. It's like 25 thousandths under the trim 2 length. So we're not going to have to trim after maybe a few shots, hopefully. So we'll kind of track how those stretch out and all that fun stuff too. All right, so this will be our 9th shot. All right, that's not bad. Those 3 are a little bit of horizontal stringing, which could be user error or the scope settling in after that adjustment, but that looks a little bit tighter than our group on the left. Let's do, like I said, I want to save 5 rounds. So I've got 6 shots left. So I guess we've got 2 more 3-round groups. So let's move down to the bottom left. And I'm going to adjust to the left a little bit more here, maybe another couple clicks. All right. Bottom left target now. And yeah, screw it. Let's just let's shoot these sort of rapidly, these next 3, and we'll just see if that, you know, does anything to our little pencil barrel here. That looks pretty good. We're just right under the mark there. Just about an inch low, perhaps. I can deal with that, though, because it allows me to keep my same holding, point of aim. And now we are definitely getting some Mirage. Right, I think we're on to something here. One more. Let's try and keep that same hold. Looks like we came out a little bit high there. Could be human error, and it could be the stuff in the box here. Although those 2 touching, they're pretty nice. I like that. Although that could be a fluke as well. You know, you could have some good luck, could have some bad luck. All right, so We've got 3 shots left. I'm going to go ahead and reset the target camera, and we're going to hit some of the steel and just see how hard these 100 grains smack on those steel targets down there. So let me reset. Stand by. Alright guys, real quick, we'll just review the chronograph. We had a high 29.09. Our low is 28.36. An average of 28.85. That's an extreme spread of 73. Wow. And a standard deviation of 22. Not the greatest, but it's definitely hunting ammo, that's for sure. And we'll go ahead and review our targets when we get inside, but they don't look quite as good as I thought they did through the scope there. But we'll go ahead and take these last 3 hits on the steel targets, and let's just see how them suckers smack them. Alright, here's our targets. If you can maybe see the little red MGM popper, this guy might be my favorite target here. Let's give him a whack. Whammo! 100 grains, that thing ain't no joke going. What was our average? 28.85. That's not too bad. A little bit of energy right there, I'll tell you what. Alright, I've got 2 more. Let's hit the Grizzly IPSC full-size silhouette there. Listen to this sucker ring. Wow. Looks like we're still hitting a bit to the right. Let me make a little extra click here. 1, 2, and then up top to the MGM. And we'll put our last shot on the white MGM hexagon at the very top. Pow! That shook him pretty good, and it's actually in the center where I was holding. So I think we're good on our center to center movement. And we'll just call that good for now because I'm not actually loading any 100 grain bullets at this time. I've only got 90 grains to reload right now, but we got some brass to work with and a gun to test out now. Alright, so there's really actually no need to take this bad boy inside. We can just take a look here. Very first shot out the gate. Second shot out the gate. And our third shot, we called that good. We'll start our first group. We move over to the left. 2 hitting here, 1 hits here. I said we'll adjust to the left a little further. We move over here. These 3, a little bit of horizontal stringing, but a little bit tighter vertically. Not too bad. Probably 1.5 inches there. That's about 2 thumbs. And that was our first 9 shots. And then we move on down to the bottom left where I said we were not going to wait for our barrel to cool down. We had 2 in a row right here. And then I wasn't able to hold it as well, or, you know, ammo consistency or whatever. These are 100 grain bullets, which might be on the top end of stability for this twist rate. But that's just a little over 1 inch there with 3 shots. Definitely, if you took this out into the deer woods, you know, you'd definitely hit what you were aiming at. Especially in here, as you can see, it's hard for me to get a 100-yard shot. It's just so thick, you know, most of this stuff is going to be 20, 30, you know, max 50 yards. Anyways, overall, for a $300 gun, sorry, $330 plus tax and the background check and all that fun stuff. The freaking box of ammo was 10% of the cost of the gun. So this is why reloading is valuable. I'm going to have this sucker paid off in about a couple 100 rounds. Maybe that's something else that we should track. How quickly does this budget thing get paid off? And then after that, when we start making upgrades, we can keep track of that stuff too. Again, however, overall, the scope, pretty trashy. There's no parallax or focus or anything other than the little adjustment left, right, up, down. And as you can see, my bipod here, I've got one leg boosted up here because both my table aren't level, and I'm pretty sure this is canted incorrectly or mounted improperly, because when I just go to shoulder it standing up or whatever, it seems to have a lean to it anyways. But we're gonna actually go ahead, clean it down properly, torque everything to spec. I'll probably end up giving it a sweet spray paint job just for the lulls or whatever. It might be fun, who knows, because this black thing, it's not super exciting, but it does have this nice butt pad here that's pretty cool. And I figured out what they did. They have a compact model. All it does is has one less spacer here at the ass end. So the stock could have ended here. They added another inch into the length of pole. And now you've got the normal adult version compared to the youth model or whatever. That's pretty funny, right? As far as our brass, everything looks pretty much identical. The necks are all the same. Fairly clean powder, you know, the cases are all pretty clean all the way down. Our primer's still pretty rounded there. Nothing really to see on the case heads, no weird smear marks or bolt extractor marks or anything like that. But anyways, that was our first 15 shots out of the gun. I've got 5 more. And like I said, after a couple hundred, we'll come back and retest these, see how much our barrel has sped up over time, right? That could be a fun little thing to track. So someone remind me in like 6 months from now, hey, what's that first batch ammo doing there? So I'll write all that info down on the box that we collected. I think it was a 28.85 average, which is about 85 feet less than our book velocity there, or math is hard, somewhere in there, 75-80 feet less than prescribed, but we're still doing pretty good energy. And again, if you were to just take this out of the deer woods, get sighted in there in those first 10 shots, you would have no issue taking this out in the woods, you know, right now this weekend. But that's going to wrap it up for today, folks. Thanks for joining me, and we'll start this series here on the Savage Axis Cheapo 243 and see where it takes us and what we can do. What's your favorite loads? What kind of bullets do I need? I'm going to be looking out for the 87 grain VMAXs and boat tail hollow points from Hornady. Those seem like really good options. I'm going to try the 58 grain VMAX and get those screaming like 4,000 feet per second if possible. That would be freaking hilarious and just kind of fun just for the jokes, you know. I actually am afraid of shooting the steel with that. It might actually just go through. Yeah, believe it or not, quick and fast actually, you know, penetrates better than slow and heavy. But I'm rambling now. Thanks again for hanging out, guys. Make sure to check out dummyroundreloading.com. Go join me on all the other socials. And thanks again, guys. We will see you in the next video. Have a good one.